NERDSoul.
Here's where I think Bo-Katan's story works really well. First, and I was on a podcast with the fan base press on Monday. It hasn't come out yet, so I'll let you guys know when it comes out. And one of the guests, her name's Teresa. She wrote an article on the Mary Sue called, I don't remember the full name of the article, but the Mandalorians are basically space Jews. And it's 100% right. Like if you make the correlation, we got the who were the spies, and the spies were actually the 12 Mandalorians who went down to the planet to see what was going on, and they discovered that Moff Gideon was there. And that is a correlation to the biblical story about the 12 spies of Israel who go into the land of Canaan to see if they can take the land of Canaan, if they're strong enough to take the land of Canaan, or if they're not strong enough to take the land of Canaan. And Canaan is the promised land. Mandalore is the promised land. This is a perfect metaphor. It's a perfect analogy.
Yeah, there's tons of that all through Star Wars.
All through it, yeah, exactly. And the Mandalorians work really well as an allegory for the Jewish people group in this setting who have been displaced, and then now they're coming back to the promised land. So that stuff works really well because Bo-Katan has the biggest character arc in the show, right? So she starts out and she is alone on a throne of nothing. She is a ruler of nothing.
Right.
And she has to learn, what does it take to be a ruler of Mandalore? And being a ruler of Mandalore is literally taking the tribes, understanding what the tribe's needs are. And when I say tribes, I don't mean the tribe of Mandalore. I mean the different sects or different tribes that appear underneath the Mandalorian banner, and how to rally them together to have a shared common enemy that they can fight against and essentially restore the planet. And so that's why I think that Bo-Katan works so well in this setting. She has a really compelling character arc where she goes from being a leader of no one to a leader of what will eventually be probably some people group that goes to war against Thrawn. That's a prediction, but still, I think that still might happen. And the fact that she is able to make that big journey and start to build what she was called to build, even though that she got tripped up in her calling earlier on, I think is really, really powerful. So that's why her story works so well for me. I can talk about why Din and Grogu don't work as well for me, but Michael, what do you think about Bo-Katan? Why does that work so well, and how does it work so well?
I think, well, for people that have kind of like followed a good bit of Star Wars, we know her past as well. So we know her sister, what went on with Death Watch, then what went on with Sabine, and we want her to win because we've seen her kind of go through all of this, and we know, even though she tries to pretend when we first meet her, like she's like, whatever, I don't care, this is stupid, I don't want it anymore. And it's like, no, we see that you have a heart for Mandalore and that you actually care about the people, and you are well suited to do this. Like, it wasn't just like, hey, your sister is the ruler and I just go out on my own thing because my sister is the one that she's the politician person. It's like, no, just because you aren't exactly like your sister doesn't mean that you don't care for and love your planet, your people just as much. And I think we see that when she first meets Din Djarin, because even in that first episode that they meet, you can kind of see her, I guess, softening up to him a little bit. And then the story that she tells about what really went on between Moff Gideon, it's like, oh, okay, we get it. Because she could have, she's Mandalorian. She could have said, we're going to fight to the last tooth and nail. But she saw what the Empire was bringing. And the bottom line is, due to their fractions between, Death Watch and then, what's his name? Darth Maul and everything, they just didn't have the unification to do it. And she said, we are the ones that beat each other. And I think Grogu even understood that when he stood between them saying like, no, because I even said in my review, I was like, from from the mouth of babes, and a child shall lead them. It's kind of like, hey, stupid, we're going to our home where we can prosper and rejuvenate the land that belongs to us, and y'all are fighting over something that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the scheme. Wow, so what? They don't take off their helmets. You do. It doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of going back to our home, let it go.
Yeah.
So we see that, this woman has lost so much, and we know how much she really does care, regardless of her attitude, her external attitude.
Yeah.
We want her to win. And I think that's why it works so much, because, of course, the actress is dope. And then the character's backstory before it was live action, it already has the kind of the tribulations there. So it's like we just want her to win. We want her to finally make it. So I think that's why it works for me.